Hi again, everyone. I just wanted to briefly talk about neural systems, brain states, and consciousness. So you have a lot of different assignments this week to kind of help you get a better feel for what the different areas of the brain do. There are a few different things for you to try. I think the Stroop task will be something that's kind of fun and sort of helps you to think about automaticity and different forms of processing. I'm going to have you take a look at neuromyths, a TED talk that I think is really good that kind of debunks a lot of the myths that we tend to hear about brains and brain function. And then also, I have an assignment for you related to sleep to go along with brain states and consciousness, just to really help you think about the importance of sleep in terms of brain function, memory consolidation, and overall health. So, just to go through a few of the things that have been covered in the modules you're doing related to this. So, remember, when you're thinking about neural connections and pathways, the formation and strengthening of synaptic connections. So if we think about how our brain is changing, how we learn, we know it's through the formation and strengthening of these connections. Stimuli activate the appropriate brain portions and become encoded as synaptic connections. And we also know that our brain has a good deal of neuroplasticity, so it can change in response to our environment. And consolidation then is the process of stabilizing and strengthening these neural or synaptic connections. Again, I'm giving kind of a very high level overview of this, but really this helps us to think about how we learn and how some things become automatic over time as we're forming those pathways and connections. So in these readings, you'll also learn about dual processing, so the difference between conscious and deliberate thought versus more unconscious, automatic things that we are able to do quickly that have become well learned. If anyone's interested in further thinking about this topic, there's a really good popular press book called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. I would highly recommend that. I just finished reading it myself, and he talks about things like cognitive biases and kind of some differences among our more deliberate thinking system that he calls System 2 versus our more automatic system, which he calls System 1. So, also, when we're thinking about processing, we want to think about things like inputs to our sensory register. So, how are we taking in the information that's then being processed? So, we can think about the different environmental inputs to our sensory register: sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, and the ways that those are processed. Again, our selective attention allows us to really put our focus on the things that are important or that we think are important in the moment. So you can selectively focus your attention. Parallel processing allows us to basically take care of routine business. So that is related to this idea of automaticity, right? You can walk down the street and talk on your cell phone at the same time. Walking has become an automatic process for you. So the good part about automaticity then is that when we can produce responses without conscious thought, they've reached automaticity. And that's beneficial because it frees space in our working memory. So our the thing that we're conscious of at the time, it frees up space there so that we can process different things. So if we think about something like reading, right? If you still had to spend a lot of your time trying to sound out words, right, as you probably did when you first learned to read, then there wouldn't be many cognitive resources left for you to think about the meaning of what it is that you're reading. So parts of reading become an automatic process so that you can then focus more on the meaning. So this is a pretty short one, but just to wrap up, as I said, there's a few things I'll have you do throughout this unit to kind of practice these ideas and sort of to help consolidate them. And to help you think about both the mechanisms at work in the brain as well as applications. So again, I know we're not covering the sleep and dreams module, but I will have an assignment related to sleep and dreams that goes along with this brain states and consciousness, because I think, as we think about the different forms of consciousness and what's going on in our brain, we need to also think about different things that influence that. One, which you'll learn more about, is different forms of drugs, but also sleep, we know, has a big impact on our function, our ability to function cognitively, as well as remember things. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy this week, and please contact me with any questions.